Hello, welcome to Startup to Success. My guest today is Christine Saiyan, the founder of Mama Bird Retreats. Christine, welcome to my show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. I love what you do, so I had to bring you on as a guest and share with our listeners and hope that they could take advantage of some of the amazing things that you guys do. So tell us about Mama Bird Retreat, and then I'm going to ask you to go back and tell us the journey, how you became an entrepreneur.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I I am basically I founded Mama Bird Retreats because I am a mama of two little girls. And I figured moms need a one-day retreat, a vacation out of their normal routines. And I have basically invited the most amazing people to host the workshops during that one-day retreat. And I'm looking forward to the opportunities that I would meet new moms and experience such an amazing group of women, empowerment, and just giving oath to our goddess feminine energy.
I love it. I love it. So if I was interested in Mama Bird Retreat, what's the best way to go about it? Would the event be at my place, or how, like, where would the retreat be for us to
Oh,
join?
yes, yeah. So basically, I'm hosting it at my studio in North Hollywood. And and so we are basically getting together there, but the most of the time the retreat's going to start with a beautiful hike somewhere in nature, and then basically we're going to meet at the studio and do lots of dancing, ceremonial activities, like enjoying a good cup of tea and conversations, and dance ceremonials. And we have such amazing hosts. Our first one is August 14th. So we have Patil doing the dance ceremonies and Gabriel doing the sound healing, which is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait. I love these people.
I love sound healing, and I'm happy that you're close by in the Valley. North Hollywood's pretty close to a lot of our listeners. So I obviously like looked you up and looked at your background and tell us a little bit about Blink to Light. How did you get into that? Or well, before Blink to Light, just give us the journey. How did you become an entrepreneur? What encouraged you? What inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
My trainings, my background as a yoga instructor really opened my heart into becoming a studio owner. And so 2 years after my training, I said that, even though I was a full-time graphic designer at Disney, doing that as a full-time job, I said, if I have two passions, why not go for it? And I opened up the studio in Glendale for 2 years. And because of the fact that I was doing two things, it was just too hard for my system to handle. But it was such a wonderful experience because I got to meet so many amazing individuals, and all the people that walked through my door really healed me through my process of, as a teacher and as a teacher and a lifetime learner. So.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go back to your time in Disney, and I'm curious to know, because I used to, prior to starting my agency and Roma Leaf, I was working for an agency that was owned by New York Times, and so I've been in the corporate world, and being a mom and being in the corporate environment can be very challenging. So, was that part of the, also were the kids part? My kids definitely inspired my journey throughout my career. Everything was always about the kids. Once I had my girls, I was like, oh, I can't work for anyone else, because I don't like to explain people that I have to take 2 hours and go and watch my daughter sing at a pre-K, and miss an important pitch to a Fortune 500 company. Like, your boss is never going to understand that. And so those challenges, I mean, besides being obsessed with entrepreneurship, which I am fully, but I think my kids definitely help me always choose the right path, and entrepreneurship has always been the right path, even if I had doubts at some points and I joined the corporate world, which sometimes seemed easier because I was wearing less hats, but at the end of the day it was harder because I was never I was never there as much as I wanted to be for the girls. I still had the obligation of being there 8 to 5 or 6. So tell me a little bit about that. Did you have the girls after your time at Disney, or was it while you were at Disney?
So during Disney, owning Blink to Light, that was back when I wasn't even married. So my husband and I, we got married right after I quit Disney, and we had our babies, and now they're ages 4 and 3. They are just such an inspiration. Sorry about that. They're such, so my babies, just like you, they're my inspiration. I mean, you can't just let them go and do. The corporate world took a lot of energy, and I would work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. some days at the photography department. It was very high intensity, super, your energy is completely consumed by them. And so I think the universe, showed me that I don't belong there anymore. And then, although I had let go of Blink to Light, the yoga and the teaching of yoga, the private work and all that stuff was still with me until after the pandemic, is when something struck and I said, I have to do something about this. And this is why Blink to Light and Mama Bird Retreats is coming as like a, a total inspiration, a learning experience through the pandemic, and being with the kids for so long. And as a kids yoga teacher too right now, I'm so inspired by them. They're my teachers, they're my gurus.
I think kids to your point, kids are so in tune with nature
Yeah.
and that higher power. And sadly, once they get into the school and the way the foundation of our society is, they start losing that. They lose that connection that we should all have and keep. But I'm so thankful for yoga and meditation that it's a way to bring it back and keep it in our lives, and know that nature is there to help us and heal us, but we don't take advantage of it. And I can speak for myself. When my dad passed away, I was in a lot of depression, and I refused to see a therapist. I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm a strong person. I don't need a therapist to help me grieve. And I literally, it was my hikes. I started hiking daily, and I would go sit under a tree and sit there for 20 minutes, and just literally the trees, I felt like the trees were my support. The mountains were my backbone. Like, it was just amazing how within a year of just consistently doing this hike, I healed myself. And obviously losing someone so close, it could take longer, and it did take me much longer, but I got myself out of it. And when I look at just the simplest things that are surrounding us, and how we forget to take advantage, and most people lean on pills and this and that to like get themselves feel better, but in reality all we need is to look at the best things in life that are free. And I think that's what yoga and meditation tend to do. It's like such an easy way to be in shape, but people are like, oh, it's too boring. Well, and that's another thing I want to talk to you about, is if people like, as a yoga advocate and an instructor, obviously you believe in that, and you know, you seem very athletic. And so if somebody's against it, how do you change their minds and tell them that, listen, these are the benefits and this is why you should do it?
Okay, so as a full-time yoga advocate, I am so inspired by the the simplicity of it all. It from the outside, it looks very open-ended. It just feels like, oh my goodness, there's so many poses and there's so many levels for me to get to point A to Z. But it is all about that. It really taught me to be still in whatever situation I find myself in. And prior to being more, you know, present with myself, I was completely out of the loop with my losing both my grandparents at the pandemic. And
Oh, I'm
it
sorry.
was it was 2020 was not easy for a lot of us. And I feel like when that happened and that hit me a lot more, it just kind of motivated me to open up a space that people can come together, especially moms, because they need it the most, I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Being a mom is so, being a present mom is so
Yeah.
important, because it really, when I can look into my daughter's eyes and see that they're actually with me, there's no description. It's like this moment that you have with them that just conceals it all. You're like, oh, that's why I'm doing this work. This is why I spend 15 minutes in the morning meditating, and 15 minutes at night just checking in and praying for all the goodness that's in my life.
I love that. I love that. And I think, you know, the point you made about moms have it the hardest. I think COVID really impacted a lot of moms. I have a lot of mom friends who are entrepreneurs. Some work for, you know, high level executives at tech companies, and it's really hard for them to homeschool and at the same time cook and clean and have kids running in the background while they're running a Zoom meeting. Yeah, it's just really intense.
It's
And
really
that,
frustrating at times. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've screamed at my daughters. And I mean, you're like, oh, well, we all do it. We all get out of our zone. You know what I mean? Like it's normal to feel frustrated and all that stuff. And you can't always lean on the pills or there's something really pivotal happening in the world right now. And if you can tap into your energy centers, you can totally get out of it. I mean, that's what I did. I didn't think I could get out of it. My mom is like my angel,
yeah,
and yeah, and you know, having those mentors in your life are so important.
I agree. And I think coming together as a community of just human beings helping each other and just being there is such a comforting thing. And you know, like I own a marketing agency where I've helped tech startups that got funded millions of dollars for the past 4.5 years. And then when the pandemic happened, I started spending more time on my second company, Roma Leaf, which was still a baby. You know, I was doing it more like a side hustle rather than not a hustle, but like a side thing, because it was really a solution for me. And it was just, it happened to like do well in a few pharmacies. And I was like, okay, it's going somewhere, but I'm not really going to push it forward because I've got this other company that's doing really well. But when the pandemic hit, it made me realize that if it wasn't for my product, I probably would have lost it many times with the kids and everyone. Like it's hard. And then, you know, you get anxious and you're tired, or you're just like, you lean on a glass of wine or whatever. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be drinking wine too much either. So like, what do I do? And the yoga places were closed, everything. And I'm usually very involved. I love going to yoga studios. I just love that experience. I love being around other people, other energies. So for me, working out from home is just never been my thing. I've always worked out 5 to 7 days a week, literally, in studios in the valley, because we're blessed with a lot of different studios, as you know, on Ventura Boulevard. So with that said, I sort of had an awakening too, where I was like, well, my mission has always been, with Roma Leaf, to add relief to my routine. And then I was like, I'm going to make this a mission to help others also. But then that mission sort of evolved and turned into my agency also doing that same thing, but through a different service, I guess. And I started partnering with nonprofits like score.org to teach small businesses and entrepreneurs and startups how to do some of the advanced type of marketing that my agency does for others. And all volunteered, like just helped people, volunteered my time, and just started helping people. And it felt so good to do that. I was like, we need to come as a community and help each other, because these small businesses are suffering right now. They're all, closed and not making money. How can I help them? So I do feel like the pandemic obviously had a negative impact on us, but it also brought the best out of a lot of people, where they're like, well, how can I have service in this world, right? Like, why am I here? What's my purpose? How can if I can help 100 people before I die, then that's amazing, right? And so like that question, I think, is something that a lot of people went through, even the busy moms that probably had no time to do. So it's inspiring to know what you're doing. And I think women coming together and helping each other and supporting each other's mission is instrumental at this time for us to rise above these challenges. So tell us a little bit about, more about the program that's going to start on August 14th. You mentioned, how would people sign up? Like, just give us a little bit more information so that people can reach you.
So we're starting off the day, August 14th. I picked a weekend because I feel like moms mostly, they have a mother-in-law or someone that they can just say, okay, I'm gonna make this work. Because if you really want to make it work, you can make it work, that's for sure. So basically we're going to start with a hike, and then we're going to come and do like a really beautiful goddess tea ceremony to give oath to our Mother Earth. And did you freeze again? And to give oath to our Mother Earth, and to really acknowledge, we're not alone on this world. We're actually living through the energies of the earth, of the universe. And so I want to really like open people's eyes to how they can really invoke ritual in their lives. And then we'll do a 45-minute lovely yoga practice. I teach yoga tune-up, so it's very therapeutic. Yoga tune-up involves these therapeutic massage balls. They're such yummy work. It's so wonderful. I love what I do. And so we're going to do a couple of and a lot of like core massage work, which is very soothing to the nervous system and really gets you out of that anxiety, or that, I don't really like that word, but that anxiousness of things, because we're constantly on the clock, like, oh, pick up the kids, do this, do that, da, 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 da. It's constant. So afterwards, we're going to do, we have such lovely individuals doing the workshop for the dance ceremony. My good friend Patil Violeta, she's a Reiki master and also a dance teacher. She's going to be there. My good friend Amy, her and I worked at her Sierra Madre Roots for Wellness Center at one point. And Gabriel actually taught at Blink to Light. His sound healing is just, I cannot wait. I haven't seen him in so long. I cannot wait to see him again, because he brings his didgeridoo, this like long Australian instrument, and it's phenomenal. Yeah. And also Armin Menecian is also a really good friend of mine. And it's just so exciting because all of these people, most of which are Armenians, and that's like really dear to my heart. It just so happened to be this way. So I'm very excited to like share something super special.
I know. And speaking of Armenians, I feel like we should connect and help each other more. Uh,
Mhm.
and I think that, sadly, the war really triggered that, where we all connected and started, doing things to help the situation. And I'm sure, a lot of the people out there were helpful. Some of us felt like we couldn't move a needle, but we got together, we got to know each other, and it's been really awesome to support each other even after the fact. And I'm a huge advocate of supporting Armenian entrepreneurs and creative people, especially because I think creativity is so needed in this world. But sadly, if you don't know how to shine a light on your creativity,
Mhm.
nobody will know about you. Nobody will know you exist. So I'm going to dabble a little bit talk about marketing and advertising. So you're starting this venture, and I'm sure, a lot of people are sort of in the same situation where they either just open up something new and or have an idea to open something new, but are a bit lost as to, well, how am I going to get customers through the door, especially in these unknown times where we're still being scared, and or they're trying to scare us to get vaccinated, and we're wondering, is there going to be a second shutdown? So I'm curious to hear that part.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree. There's so much fear around. And Amy Satamian is gonna do a lovely speech on that during our retreat. She has recently lost 60 pounds. So this woman is phenomenal. Anyway, I really can't wait for that. And as far as marketing, mamabirdsretreats.com, um, I'm so blessed to have a background of design. And so being a graphic designer has helped me a lot with my marketing. I mean, if my brother's business, I'm literally sitting in his office right now, um, and like building his business logo and all that stuff. It's like I love that. I love being creative in that sense. And so when an idea is so potent to me, I completely, God bless me in those two ways so I can actually intertwine and create something like this for people.
I love that. See, it's so funny you said it, like you've got the two things where you get the creativity, but then you're able to execute it and turn it into something that
Mhm.
is tangible or visible in your case, right? Yeah, I feel like I have that too, in a sense where I can productize an idea so quickly. It's like my brain just simplifies the most complicated things and just breaks it down into 5 bullets, and I'm like, okay, I got to get this done, that done, that, and then I get it done. And then my friends or people around me are like, wait, it was just an idea, we didn't think you were really going to do it. I'm like, well, yeah, I am going to do
Yeah,
it. But I
exactly.
think when it comes to branding, which you mentioned, it's super important, and that's what I want to emphasize a little bit on. When businesses start, a lot of them don't focus on branding, they don't focus on their logo, they don't think about their name properly, and they just go ahead and pick any name without doing proper trademark search, properly getting all the social handles, making sure that the brand is consistently the same across all channels. And so that's something that you know I do want to talk about. And what's your perspective, like if somebody has a smaller budget, what should they do, how should they go about it?
Yeah. My approach has always been simplicity. And so I normally say, oh, there's no such thing as, posting on social media every hour of the day. It's a matter of really pushing out the pushing out the content that really opens people's eyes in a sense that you're like, oh, I want to know who you are. I want to know what you offer. I want to know, obviously, the things that really matter is the cost and the location is really important to people. And that's it. And I feel like there's always that like self-doubt issue that comes about with everyone. Obviously, entrepreneurs had that, and meditation has helped me tremendously. So as far as getting that out of the way, you could do anything your heart desires, I think.
And speaking of meditation, I actually did a talk on this where I talked about entrepreneurs utilizing meditation to help them make strategic decisions. I'm huge on that. I'll sit with my notepad and get into meditation for 15-20 minutes, and I'll start with a question, whatever strategic question I have, or business partnership, or whatever it is that I'm debating about, and I can't figure it out on my big huge board here, I'll just end up sitting in meditation and just quiet down my mind, stop moving, and the answers come.
Your intuition.
When I tell this to people, they're like, oh, you're freaky. This is like crazy shit. I don't want to hear this. I'm like, I'm not. I'm telling you, it's so easy. Just sit and wait. The answers are all within you. You know the answers. You just need to just be patient and quiet so you can listen to yourself. Yeah, what's your thought on that? Have you ever used meditation to make business decisions?
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, yes. My intuition speaks to me all the time, as freaky as it sounds. It's so important to follow the feelings in your gut, and most importantly, like you're obviously gonna know if you're next to someone that you don't feel comfortable with, you're gonna feel it in your center. And so the same goes with decision making. I feel like you can take, if I'm busy in my head and if I'm yelling at my daughters or my husband and I'm like not in the headspace to make a decision, that's not never going to happen. Yeah, so it's a matter of like quieting all those extremities and then just getting back to what really matters, because we're such, especially as women, as mothers, we are so connected to the divine. We had the power to give birth to another human being. As cliche as it sounds, it is what it is, and we are vessels to create more than just children. And that was the issue in my mind when I was going through my depression. For 7-8 months, I was just like fighting it. And the second I let go of trying to control what is really going on is when things started really showing up in my life. And thank goodness I met you, because this is truly a gift.
Thank you. And I'm excited, and we need to talk more probably again in terms of how we can collaborate, because of the workshops that we're doing for Roma Leaf with Hello Relief, Goodbye Anxiety. And as much as I don't like the word anxiety, sadly, after a certain age, I noticed anxiety is part of my life. And I then learned that a lot of my friends have it too on an ongoing basis. They could be having the best day, but their heart starts pounding and just driving them nuts. And so, and to your point, the society we're living in, everything is like, oh, time, we got to get here, we got to get there. It's just, those things, smaller things can cause anxiety too, and then leading into depression and other bigger things. But with the workshop, that's what we're trying to do, get people together and help them learn a little bit more about it. Because I've had friends who thought they were having heart problems. Literally, they thought they were going to have a heart attack when it was truly an anxiety. They went to the hospital, the whole thing, and learned that it's just anxiety. And so a lot of people just don't know. And our way to help our community is to simply get them together and educate them. And we have doctors speaking and talking about the symptoms and the treatments and all of that. And then we dive into CBD a little bit, talk about, how CBD can help ease anxiety. And it can, like, within 5 to 7 minutes, you take it, put it under the tongue, it kicks in and calms you down. It's so amazing. I love.
I really am. Actually, I walked into your store. This is how we actually got
Yeah.
connected, is
Yeah.
that your store drew my attention, and I actually create chocolate truffles with CBD oil in it. And so when I did walk in, I'm like, oh my God, this is so perfect.
Yeah.
And
I would love to
people at
try
first have
it.
the idea of CBD being so the way of after a certain time, like I tried to explain to people that you're not going to get high, and you're not going to feel anything abnormal. You're just going to relax your nerves and just be you.
And that's the thing where we try to educate them, because a lot of people don't know that CBD is in black pepper. It's in
Yeah,
cocoa.
and
It's
all
in
sorts of
cocoa.
things.
It's in chamomile. Why do you think chamomile relaxes you and can help you sleep better? Because there is CBD in there. Naturally, it has that compound in there.
Yeah,
And so people don't know. And when they don't know, they don't take advantage of something that's so amazing and natural and can help you so quickly. And it's kind of sad. And so my mission has been to educate people and to help them learn about alternative ways to help themselves. Because I had personally, when I got diagnosed with hemiplegic migraines, I was told I had to take this prescription medicine for the rest of my life. The medicine turned me into a vegetable. I hated the feeling of being numb and almost lazy all day. I hated that feeling. And so I took a chance for the last 20 something years, and I was like, I'm not taking any medication. I'm just going to exercise 5 to 7 days a week to make sure my blood is circulating and all of that. I'm going to eat healthy. So I got lucky that in that meantime, nothing happened, because I could have gotten a stroke, because every time my migraine attacks, my left side goes numb. But when I came across CBD, which was because of my dad, it was like a miracle. I took it and the numbness didn't even come. And I'm like, oh, I wish I knew about this years ago, because being terrified every time you get a migraine and not knowing if your face is ever going to go back to normality is scary.
yeah.
It's a scary feeling. And so for me, it's been just life-changing. And
Even were your pregnancies, my pregnancies were so they were normal pregnancies. I mean, there were times where I had headaches and aches and pains here and there, but I mean, I've heard a lot of really, crazy stories where women had to go to the hospital and do all sorts of things, to get the situation cleared out. But I could imagine the stress and
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's totally normal to have it during pregnancy too, correct?
Well, luckily I haven't been getting much headaches while I'm pregnant. And if I do, I know that Roma leaf CBD has no THC, and
Yeah.
my doctor totally,
It should be fine.
our stuff is broad spectrum. It's the highest quality you could find. And so I take it. But it hasn't been that often. But in terms of, looking for natural ways to heal ourselves, I feel like it's a combination of yoga, meditation, and CBD, and all three are so easy and accessible. Like it sometimes saddens me when people are like, oh, I'm dealing with anxiety, I'm depressed. And I'm like, why are you depressed? Are you exercising? No. Are you, like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just drinking a lot of wine. I'm like, well, that's not gonna help. Like,
Yeah, it takes patience. It definitely takes patience. I thought I was never going to get out of it myself. I said, okay, I have all this knowledge about yoga, about this, about that. And then I'm like, okay, how do I integrate this? What was I doing before that I'm not doing right now? And exactly what you said. So the exercise is the most of the utmost So that's why I wanted to start with a hike. And then creativity is so important too, because it relaxes you. Just getting, I'm gonna get moms to get their paintbrushes and like,
Love
we're
that.
gonna do lots of really fun things. I can't wait.
I love that. I love that. And I think just the and I've been to a lot of yoga studios, and I love how you differentiated yourself by not just doing yoga and meditation like almost all of the yoga studios I've been to, but bringing in mothers and with the tea and the creativity and the sound, like all of this is it's all we need to
Full
heal.
package, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's all we need to come together. And even if we do it once a month, I feel like it could be that moment where we could kind of just refocus, refresh, and just just get balanced a little bit, because it's
Yeah.
really hard when you're always on the go to continue being balanced. Okay, before we end our call, I just want to know, how would people reach you? And is it going to be a monthly subscription for them um, to join Mama Bird? Sorry, to join Mama Bird retreat, or is it like one-time fee? Like how would you suggest they?
Sure. Sure. So on my website, mamabirdretreats.com, it's very simple. If you want to join one retreat, so you just pay for this one, which is August 14th. It's a Saturday. It's actually next week. I can't believe it.
That's amazing.
We don't have a limit. Well, I want it to be really intimate, so I'm keeping it to 15 individuals right now. I have 10 signups, which I'm super excited about. But as far as getting yourself signed up, make sure you register online, and then get your tickets online. It's all on the website. And then
Perfect.
if you message me through text or anything, it's all on the website. So I mean, it's very accessible. mamabirdretreats.com.
Awesome. And if you want to leave, give me flyers. We have an event coming up on August
Yeah, please,
19th.
yeah.
We can
For
include it in our goodie bags so that people can learn about, because it's in the Valley. We're in Studio City, you're in North Hollywood. We might as well promote each other and help each other out with this as you progress. And maybe we can even have, right now we're in person, but we're moving slowly into online as well, because a lot of people
Great.
are still hesitant to be in person.
Together,
And so
yeah.
we've got so many people requesting if we could have it online. So it's probably going to be a hybrid program, which eventually I would love to include a yoga class and a meditation, and it'll just be so fun for people to get a little bit more engaged, and they can learn about your studio. But thank you so much for joining today. I am so excited to share an Armenian entrepreneur, and most importantly, a mom entrepreneur. I love supporting mom entrepreneurs. I think
Thank you.
I think you're on the right path, and you're going to inspire your little girls to take on the world like no other. So I'm excited for them as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.